Life, the Universe and Everything by Douglas Adams. Chapter 31. In a deep well of darkness, a crippled robot sat. It had been silent in its metallic darkness for some time. It was cold and damp, but being a robot, it was supposed not to be able to notice these things. With an enormous effort of will, however, it did manage to notice them. Its brain had been harnessed to the central intelligence core of the Cricket war computer. It wasn't enjoying the experience, and neither was the central intelligence core of the Cricket war computer. The Cricket robots who had salvaged this pathetic metal creature from the swamps of Squanchella had done so because they had recognised almost immediately its gigantic intelligence and the use which this could be to them. They hadn't reckoned with the attendant personality disorders, which the coldness, the darkness, the dampness, the crampedness and the loneliness were doing nothing to decrease. It was not happy with its task. Apart from anything else, the mere coordination of an entire planet's military strategy was taking up only a tiny part of its formidable mind, and the rest of it had become extremely bored. Having solved all the major mathematical, physical, chemical, biological, sociological, philosophical, etymological, meteorological, and psychological problems of the universe, except its own 3 times over, it was severely stuck for something to do, and had taken up composing short, dolorous ditties of no tone or indeed tune. The latest one was a lullaby.
"Now the world has gone to bed," Marvin droned. "Darkness won't engulf my head. I can see by infrared how I hate the night."
He paused to gather the artistic and emotional strength to tackle the next verse.
"Now I lay me down to sleep, try to count electric sheep. Sweet dream wishes you can keep, how I hate the night."
"Marvin!" hissed a voice. His head snapped up, almost dislodging the intricate network of electrodes which connected him to the central Cricket war computer. An inspection hatch had opened, and one of a pair of unruly heads was peering through, whilst the other kept on jogging it by continually darting to look this way and that, and extremely nervously.
"Don't you?" muttered the robot. "Might have known."
"Hey, kid!" said Zaphod in astonishment. "Was that you singing just then?"
"I am," Marvin acknowledged bitterly, "in particularly scintillating form at the moment."
Zaphod poked his head in through the hatchway and looked around. "Are you alone?" he said.
"Yes," said Marvin. "Wearily I sit here, pain and misery my only companions, and vast intelligence, of course, and infinite sorrow, and—"
"Yeah," said Zaphod. "Hey, what's your connection with all this?"
"This," said Marvin, indicating with his less damaged arm all the electrodes which connected him with the Cricket computer.
"Then," said Zaphod awkwardly, "I guess you must have saved my life. Twice."
3 times, said Marvin.
Zaphod's head snapped round. His other one was looking hawkishly in entirely the wrong direction. Just in time to see the lethal killer robot directly behind him seize up and start to smoke. It staggered backwards and slumped against a wall. It slid down it. It slipped sideways, threw its head back and started to sob inconsolably. Zaphod looked back at Marvin. "You must have a terrific outlook on life," he said.
"Just don't even ask," said Marvin.
"I won't," said Zaphod, and didn't. "Hey, look," he added, "you're doing a terrific job."
"Which means, I suppose," said Marvin, requiring only 1/10,000 million billion trillion grillionth part of his mental powers to make this particular logical leap, "that you're not going to release me or anything like that."
"Kid, you know I'd love to."
"But you're not going to."
"No."
"I see."
"You're working well."
"Yes," said Marvin. "Why stop now just when I'm hating it?"
"I've got to go and find Trillian and the guys. Hey, you any idea where they are? I mean, just got a planet to choose from. Could take a while."
"They're very close," said Martin dolefully. You can monitor them from here if you like.
I'd better go get them, asserted Zayford. Maybe they need some help, right?
Maybe, said Marvin with unexpected authority in his lugubrious voice. It would be better if you monitored them from here. That young girl, he added unexpectedly, is one of the least benightedly unintelligent organic life forms. It's been my profound lack of pleasure not to be able to avoid meeting.
Zayford took a moment or two to find his way through this labyrinthine string of negatives and emerged at the other end with surprise.
Trillian? He said. She's just a kid. Cute, yeah, but temperamental. You know how it is with women? Or perhaps you don't. I assume you don't. If you do, I don't want to hear about it. Plug us in.
Totally manipulated.
What?
Said Zayford. It was Trillian speaking. He turned around. The wall against which the cricket robot was sobbing had lit up to reveal a scene taking place in some other unknown part of the cricket robot war zones. It seemed to be a council chamber of some kind. Zayford couldn't make it out too clearly because of the robot slumped against the screen. He tried to move the robot, but it was heavy with its grief and tried to bite him, so he just looked around it as best he could.
Just think about it,
said Trillian's voice.
Your history is just a series of freakishly improbable events, and I know an improbable event when I see one. Your complete isolation from the galaxy was freakish for a start. Right out on the very edge with a dust cloud around you. It's a setup, obviously.
Zayford was mad with frustration that he couldn't see the screen. The robot's head was obscuring his view of the people Trillian was talking to. Its multifunctional battle club was obscuring the background, and the elbow of the armour it pressed tragically against its brow was obscuring Trillian herself.
Then,
said Trillian,
this spaceship that crash-landed on your planet, that's really likely, isn't it? Have you any idea of what the odds are against a drifting spaceship accidentally intersecting with the orbit of a planet?
Hey, said Zayford. She doesn't know what the Zark she's talking about. I've seen that spaceship. It's a fake. No deal.
I thought it might be, said Marvin from his prison behind Zayford.
Oh, yeah, said Zayford. It's easy for you to say that. I just told you. Anyway, I don't see what it's got to do with anything.
And especially, continued Trillian, the odds against it intersecting with the orbit of the one planet in the galaxy, or the whole of the universe as far as I know, that would be totally traumatized to see it. You don't know what the odds are, nor do I. They're that big. Again, it's a setup. I wouldn't be surprised if that spaceship was just a fake.
Zayford managed to move the robot's battle club. Behind it on the screen were the figures of Ford, Arthur and Slightly Bartfast, who appeared astonished and bewildered by the whole thing.
Hey, look, said Zayford excitedly. The guys are doing great. Rah, 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 go get 'em, guys.
And what about, said Trillian, all this technology you suddenly managed to build for yourselves almost overnight? Most people would take thousands of years to do all of that. Someone was feeding you what you needed to know. Someone was keeping you at it. I know, she added in response to some unseen interruption. I know you didn't realise it was going on. That's exactly my point. You never realised anything at all, like this supernova bomb.
How do you know about that? Said an unseen voice.
I just know, said Trillian. You expect me to believe that you are bright enough to invent something that brilliant and be too dumb to realise it would take you with it as well? That's not just stupid, that is spectacularly obtuse.
Hey, what's this bomb thing? Said Zayford in alarm to Marvin.
The supernova bomb, said Marvin. It's a very, very small bomb.
Yeah?
That would destroy the universe in toto, added Marvin. Good idea if you ask me. They won't get it to work, though.
Why not, if it's so brilliant?
It's brilliant, said Marvin. They're not. They got as far as designing it before they were locked in the envelope. They've spent the last 5 years building it. They think they've got it right, but they haven't. They're as stupid as any other organic life form. I hate them.
Trillian was continuing. Zayford tried to pull the cricket robot away by its leg, but it kicked and growled at him, and then quaked with a fresh outburst of sobbing. Then it slumped over and continued to express its feelings out of everybody's way on the floor. Trillian was standing alone in the middle of the chamber, tired out but with fiercely burning eyes. Ranged in front of her were the pale-faced and wrinkled elder masters of cricket, motionless behind their widely curved control desk, staring at her with helpless fear and hatred. In front of them, equidistant between their control desk and the middle of the chamber, where Trillian stood, as if on trial, was a slim white pillar about 4 feet tall. On top of it stood a white globe, about 3, maybe 4 inches in diameter. Beside it stood a cricket robot with its multifunctional battle club.
"In fact," explained Trillian, "you are so dumb stupid."
She was sweating. Seyfried felt that this was an unattractive thing for her to be doing at this point.
"You are all so dumb stupid that I doubt, very much doubt, if you've been able to build the bomb properly without any help from Hector for the last 5 years.
"Who's this guy Hector?" said Seyfried, squaring his shoulders. If Marvin replied, Seyfried didn't hear him. All his attention was concentrated on the screen. One of the elders of cricket made a small motion with his hand towards a cricket robot. The robot raised its club.
"There's nothing I can do," said Marvin. "It's on an independent circuit from the others."
"Wait,"
said Trillian. The elder made a small motion. The robot halted. Trillian suddenly seemed very doubtful of her own judgment. "How do you know all this?" said Seyfried to Marvin at this point.
"Computer records," said Marvin. "I have access."
"You're very different, aren't you?" said Trillian to the elder masters, "from your fellow worldlings down on the ground. You spent all your lives up here, unprotected by the atmosphere. You've been very vulnerable. The rest of your race is very frightened. You know, they don't want you to do this. You're out of touch. Why don't you check up?"
The cricket elder grew impatient. He made a gesture to the robot, which was precisely the opposite of the gesture he had just last made to it. The robot swung its battle club. It hit the small white globe. The small white globe was a supernova bomb. It was a very, very small bomb, which was designed to bring the entire universe to an end. The supernova bomb flew through the air. It hit the back wall of the council chamber and dented it very badly. "So how does she know all this?" said Seyfried. Marvin kept a sullen silence. "Probably just bluffing," said Seyfried. "Poor kid, I should have never left her alone."